Hello students, today you have got history lecture. Before we start with the lecture, I was not happy with your first online assessment. You have not answered the objective questions thoroughly. And why this happened? Because you have not read your textbooks. So I would like to request you, please read the textbook. So last time we have seen lesson number 5 on your page number 23. Come to your page number 23 in your textbook, lesson number 5, education. What we seen in this chapter, we seen what is primary education, then we have seen secondary education, and we have seen Kothari Commission and what were the recommendations of the Kothari communication. Today in your textbook, come to page number 25 and you've got the topic higher education. Today we'll discuss from here higher education. Higher education in the post-independence era. So higher education after independence period. After independence in 1948, the central government appointed the University Education Commission, whose chairman was Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Its function included financial grants, the standard of the universities, and the coordination. You know what you mean by universities. After finishing your 10th standard, your 12th standard, we go for higher education, and that is called the studies in the universities or in different colleges we go to study. Now, method of functioning. The Commission accepted the 5-year plans method. It began to sanction and disburse grants. Grants means what certain grants were given for higher educations to the universities on the behalf of the government. The Commission undertakes planning of university education. So what the commission takes, they take the planning of university education, what courses or what subject or what different faculties should be there in universities. Coordination of syllabus, what syllabus the students are going to study. Giving primacy to national needs through education and the planning and implementation of various schemes of higher education, and which are the various schemes or what are the various schemes for higher education. It has done valuable work in establishing universities, development council, centers for advanced studies for postgraduate education. So post graduation, what you mean by post graduation? After finishing your graduation, you can go for further studies. So, and what system we were having during those days? We had the system of 10 plus 2 plus 3. And after that, if anybody wants to study, they can go for their postgraduate education. Establishing new universities. After the advent of television in India, it initiated the countrywide classroom program, which is telecast by Doordarshan on behalf of the commission. So today, various programs were telecast on Doordarshan. Now also for example, in this lockdown period, Doordarshan had came up with various programs of education for students up to first to standard 10. This Doordarshan had organized certain kind of programs for education. Now, National Council of Educational Research and Training, that is called NCERT. Now we'll see what is the importance of this NCERT. This body was established in Delhi on 1st of September 1961. So this NCERT, where it was established in Delhi on 1st September 1961. Its main objective is to help the central government in matters of school education in the context of comprehensive policy and implementing educational scheme. So, what is the objective of NCRT? It helps the central government in what matters? In matters of school education and implementation of educational schemes. What are the various educational schemes should be implemented? The NCERT was given the responsibility of educational research and development. So what responsibility it was given? It is given the responsibility of educational research and development, training, extension, educational program, restructuring of school curriculum, making a school curriculum and textbooks, and what things or what chapters should be introduced in your textbook. It also played a central role. Central role means what? Important role in designing school curricula and textbooks with the cooperation of the Central Board of Secondary Education, that is CBSE. It provides It provides guidance and cooperation in the area of primary and secondary education to the state government. So what it gives this NCRT, it provides guidance uh, in the field of area, in the field of primary and in the field of secondary education. It has been involved in designing workbooks and handbooks. So how to design a textbook, that also responsibility is taken. For teachers, in teachers training, in developing teacher learning techniques and conducting talent search examination at the national level, and what exams, how the exam should be conducted, all is taken into consideration. NCERT was established in all states on the lines of NCERT. So all this SCERT and NCERT was established in all states. The Maharashtra State Council of Education Research and Training was established in Pune. Now the Maharashtra State Council of Educational Research and Training, it was established in Pune. This institution performs various functions such as improving the standard of primary education, in-service training of teachers. So teachers who have completed a more number of years, they have to go something called in-service training of teachers. Training in the areas of syllabi and evaluation, how to evaluate a student, all that is taken into consideration. Vocational guidance for student after 10. So what job students should take after finishing his standard 10 and standard 12 exam, and other educational functions. This institute is known as the academic authority. It begins out a periodical called Jivan Shikshan. So a periodical, a book is published by the name of Jivan Shikshan and gives us important information. Now, National Policy on Education, year 1986. According to this policy, see, we have got something called education policy. This is the education policy of 1986. According to this policy, certain changes of fundamental nature were brought about in primary, secondary, and higher secondary education in keeping with the changing needs of society. So, this national policy on education 1986 brought certain changes in primary, secondary, and higher secondary education. Under this policy, a common core curriculum was framed for all states. So, for all states, a curriculum was prepared. The expectation is that by this means all students in India will get equal educational opportunity. So according to this policy, National Policy on Education 1986 will get equal educational opportunity. There is scope in the national curriculum for individual state to bring in flexibility in accordance with their cultural, geographical, and historical needs. So all who takes care about all this thing, the national policy on education. And now this year also we have come up with a new policy on education 2020, and many changes has been brought in this new educational policy. What we have studied about the period of 1986, but in 2020 the national policy on education has also brought many changes. The primary education curriculum 1988 was prepared on the basis of the plan of action designed at the national level for the effective implementation of the National Policy on Education 1986. So this policy of education has brought some change in primary education curriculum 1988 was prepared on the basis of plan of action. Now, use of satellite. This is the use of satellite. Why we use this satellite? In 1975, India met with success in its attempt to use a satellite for the purpose of education. Eknath Chitnis, a scientist with ISRO, played an important role in it. So, use of satellite. Why this use of satellite was brought for the purpose of education, and scientist Eknath Chitnis with ISRO played an important role in it. Now, Satellite Instructional Television Experiment, that is called SITE, was undertaken for educational purpose under the leadership of Space Application Center at Ahmedabad. The concept of satellite education came out of this experiment. America had helped India in the program. The program helped to make provisions for good standard of education in rural areas. Okay, so that was all about your national policy on education. Now, on your textbook, page number 27. Indira Gandhi National Open University is called IGNOU. This open universities was established with the objective that the stream of education should make its way into every average household of the country. So this Indira Gandhi National Open University established that every household should get a education. The United Nations had declared 1970 as the International Education Year. In the same year, a seminar was organized in New Delhi on the subject of Open University by the Government of Indian Department of Education and Social Welfare Information and Broadcasting. University Grant Commission, that is UGC, along with UNESCO. The idea of establishing an open university involved in this seminar. So a seminar was conducted, and in this seminar What topic they came out? They came up with the topic of open universities. In 1974, the government appointed a committee under the chairmanship of P. Partha Savti, and the Open University took shape on 20 September 1985 in accordance with this recommendation. Recommendation, what changes were made or what things were proposed in these open universities and suggestions. It was named after Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Those who are unable to get the college education in the formal way. Now, what do you mean by formal way? Formal way means what? Going to college, attending the lectures and appearing for exam. That is called formal way. Are given concession in eligibility criteria, age and other conditions for admission to these universities. In 1990, the IGNO started an audio-visual distance education. Distance education means those students who are not able to attend regular college, they have got something called distance education program through Akashwani and Doordarshan. It conducted more than 1,000 curricula of various branches. It provides facilities for education through 58 training centers in the country and 41 centers in foreign countries. Okay, students, today we will do till here. Hope so. You have understood what we have discussed, and a special request, students, please keep reading your textbooks because we are going to ask any question from between the lesson. In the next history lecture, we will see research institutes and science. Thank you, students.